It's hard not to worry. Finances, family, health, the uncertainty of the future can grip us with fear. It's hard not to worry. Sometimes we feel like we're just barely hanging on. Our confidence is shaking and we're on the edge of a meltdown. As someone who struggled with anxiety myself, some of my favorite songs are don't worry songs. Bob Marley sang, "Don't worry about a thing because every little thing is going to be all right." As a child of the 80s, I remember Bobby McFerrin's "Don't Worry, Be Happy." And one of my all-time favorites was the Beach Boys' "Don't Worry, Baby." Yeah, I just went Beach Boys on you. The song starts by saying, "Well, it's been building up inside of me for, I don't know how long. I don't know why, but I keep thinking something's bound to go wrong." And I can relate. Stuff builds up inside of me over a long period of time, and I don't know why. And you may think that a song might not help all that much, but when we do that, we underestimate the power, I think, of those simple words, do not worry. When someone we love speaks those over us, someone who cares about us, someone we trust, do not worry. When my wife Rachel and I were new parents, we decided to take our almost 2-year-old daughter Mary to Chattanooga for a day trip, a city about 2 hours from our house. We would leave early in the morning and then drive home late that night. On such trips, children miss their naps, eat too much sugar, get overstimulated, overextended, the perfect recipe for a toddler disaster. And so as we were finally leaving the city, we were just praying that Mary would fall asleep in her car seat. And about 20 minutes outside of the city, I looked in the rearview mirror and I could see her eyes begin to close, and she fell asleep. And Rachel and I exhaled in unison. But then suddenly I had to slam on my brakes. The interstate had come to a stop. There was a wreck somewhere ahead, and emergency vehicles began streaming past our window. Mary awoke, and she went into an immediate meltdown. You know, the 2-year-old, I'm out of my element, I'm tired, where am I, what's going on, meltdown. I wanted to have one too. In the midst of the yelling and flailing, Rachel turned around and calmly got Mary out of her car seat and held her in her lap. And she began to shush and rock that wild animal like only a mother can do. And then she whispered to her, "Mary, don't you hear that?" I didn't hear anything, but Rachel said again, "Don't you hear that sound? Can't you hear the bugs?" I thought Rachel was losing it, but we rolled the windows down, and sure enough, we could hear this loud sound of hundreds, if not thousands, of crickets singing their song in the night. Rachel said, "Can you hear them, Mary?" She leaned closer to the window, and I did too. She began to calm down, and I did too. And then Rachel said, "They're singing to you. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry, Mary. It's okay. It's okay." Mary's breathing slowed down, and mine did too. And we sat in the dark until the road was cleared. You know, sometimes with kids, we have to say things over and over again for them to get it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus talks about our treasure, the things that our hearts go after, the things we hold dear, the things we seek, the things that we might even find ourselves worrying about. He talks about our money. And right after he says, you can't serve both God and money, he says, do not worry. He says it over and over again. He says, don't worry about your life. Don't worry about what you will eat. Don't worry about your body. Don't worry about your clothes. Over and over again, Jesus sings his do not worry song over us. Should we give no mind to what we will eat or what we will wear? No, we should. Do we have no role in the care and the attainment of our lives? No, we do. Jesus is just saying that when we seek those things first, when our minds are consumed with what we can do, when our schedules are full and packed so that we can't think about him, when we seek those things first, our lives are filled with anxiety. But when we seek first God, when we seek our treasure in him, all those other things are taken care of. They find their rightful place under God. Jesus knows that it's hard not to worry. Finances, family, health, and the uncertainty of the future grip us with fear. It's hard not to worry. Sometimes we're just barely hanging on. Our confidence is shaking and we're on the edge of a meltdown. And then if we listen, we can hear Jesus saying, do not worry. Somebody we trust, somebody who cares about us, someone who has power over us, singing his "Do Not Worry" song. And when we hear that, we're reminded of some things that we easily forget. We're not really in control. The world is not spinning by our command. We cannot determine the future. Jesus says to seek our treasure in God, and all those other things, all those other things that cause us to worry will be added unto us.